The families
It's
of
6
late
o'clock.
Capist Sylvanus Nyema.
This is the news. 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good morning, it's Thursday, June 19, 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help and the stigma on the news this morning. Rivers residents weigh impact as emergency rule clocks 3 months. Group threatens legal action on Risiek nomination. President Tinubu orders immediate arrest of killers in Benue weekend attack. On the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump approves plans to attack Iran. Details of these and more after this break. You're welcome back. I'm Ifechukwumoyele with the news. Now, it's been 3 months since the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State, with Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his cabinet still suspended alongside the state lawmakers and retired Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas still in charge as sole administrator. Residents remain divided on whether progress has truly been made. While some applaud efforts to restore peace, others say the state is on autopilot with development at a standstill. Policy analyst Dr. Kennedy Allen Wakama argues that the sole administrator has done nothing to improve the economy of the state and its citizens.
Rivers State is on autopilot. I say this with all sense of responsibility. Crime rate in Rivers State has spiked. Now, social services like environmental sanitation, you find refugees all over the place. So many things that government ought to do are not being done. So I wouldn't say that the government is working. No, I don't think so. If you drive all around Rivers State, you will now find increasing potholes on our roads. These are things that we had road maintenance agencies that something that will not cost much. They fill these potholes. But today, those things are not being done.
But a lawyer, Chimene Mwadi, says the bad economy is not limited to only Rivers State, but a global problem.
Income are not even balanced. Generally, things are just skyrocketing. So when you say River State, it's not only a River State, but in terms of viability, economic viability, I think I would rate 65%. I can tell you for sure, if not that, in the global market, things are skyrocketing. Here in River State, things are equally, people are selling, people are equally buying. So for me, you look at the supply chain and equally look at the demand chain. These things are going on. But I will only judge River State based on the international market. Because if the international scene is okay, the demand is okay, then the supply will be okay.
Mr. Mwadi said the administrator has done his best in ensuring peace.
Well, so far so good. I think the other time he went as far as ensuring that there is accountability in most of the projects. Well, there are some internal overt and covert moves that are going on. He can't do it alone. Like I cited, subject to the National Assembly, he has to work with them. He doesn't take unicameral decision, subject to Mr. President. And I think there are internal moves as to resolve most of these things. And I can tell you, these are long-time crises. Alone cannot do it. And but so far so good, where he has gone to most of the media interview granted by him. He has said, look, I want peace, I want democracy, that the governor to come back.
Also speaking, a member of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Mr. Chizi Yomasele, listed some of the achievements of the sole administrator.
This administration made a state without a budget has been also appended to by the Supreme Court. And so they also would not want to fall foul to the same thing that happened with the suspended governor. Until now, a budget has been sent to the National Assembly to be passed, and we are expecting tangible infrastructure. But what the government has been doing is intangible infrastructure. For instance, prompt payment of salaries and pension. He has started approving the payment for the newly employed staff at University Teaching Hospital. He has also approved the payment of all the medical and healthcare services in all the local government area. That's why I think they are doing well.
Mr. Yomasele, who insists that the state now enjoys relative peace, also justified the increase in waste and potholes on the roads.
Some level of peace, of course, we cannot have absolute peace, have been restored into Rivers State. Even political stability, a lot of things, reconciliation is ongoing with certain persons. I understand the biases and sentiment of people. No, we are human, but a very objective look into what is happening in Rivers State will understand that there's some level of stability in the security. I'm not saying it's a perfect fit. On the aspect of the potholes and all of that, I believe they're waiting for the budget because certain things have to be appropriated for before you can use. Basically, what they are dealing with is what I call administrative infrastructure. And that's what they may not look tangible.
Well, meanwhile, the Rivers State Civil Society Organization, RIVS CSO, has faulted the nomination of Michael Ode, an indigene of Cross River State, as chairman of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RISIEC. In an interview with our correspondent, the chairman of RIVS CSO, Enefa George Will, argued that since the declaration of an emergency rule in the state is, in their view, illegal, any appointment made by the current administration, including that of RISIEC, are equally unlawful. George Will said the organization is prepared to explore all available legal channels to challenge the nomination.
All the actions taken by the sole administrator, taken by the president, is illegal. And if, for the purpose of analysis, both in terms of the appointment of the sole administrator, or even the boss as constituted by either the president or the sole administrator, as far as we are concerned, it is illegal and alien to our laws. And also the civil society will do it to challenge using all legal instruments, including going to court and street protestation and every other means that they treat.
George will, however, clarify that he is not opposed to non-indigenes occupying leadership positions in government agencies, provided they reside in Rivers State, conduct businesses, and pay taxes within the state.
It is important that those who live here, who reside here, who pay tax here, who are doing business here, should be appointed to exalted positions, elected positions in the state. Just even if it is either by election or by appointment. It is to this extent that I am arguing that even Rivers people who are not born here, who don't pay taxes here, but stay abroad, shouldn't be appointed and elected into public office in Rivers or any other state for that matter.
Still on this, the secretary of the Obedient Movement in Rivers State, Gogo Wellington, says the Labour Party and other stakeholders has vowed to boycott any elections and activities done by the sole administrator in the state. Wellington, who spoke to correspondent Yobi Oduwara, said it as a big political joke and disrespect to Rivers people to have a non-indigene nominated as RISIEC chairman.
Is a very huge slap in the faces of Rivers people. Rivers State is too big and too important in the scheme of things of a country like Nigeria for things like this to be happening. How can someone that is not from Rivers State to head the Electoral Commission? We will not be a part of any process that emerges or comes out of it. The stakeholders of the Labour Party in Rivers State, the leadership of the Labour Party in Rivers State, the leadership of the Obedient Movement in Rivers State will not be a part of any process, any illegal process initiated by sole administrator in Rivers State.
Now, recall that the Senate committee overseeing the emergency rule in Rivers State on Tuesday raised concerns over the nominations of Michael Ode as chairman of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RISIEC. In the meantime, the Senate has screened 17 nominees forwarded by President Bola Tinubu for confirmation to oversee critical institutions in Rivers State, including the Independent Electoral Commission, the Civil Service Commission, and the Local Government Service Commission. The screening was conducted by the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Oversight of Emergency Rule in Rivers State, led by Senate Leader and Chairman of the committee, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele. He said all nominees completed the constitutionally required asset declaration with the Code of Conduct Bureau and were cleared by both the Department of State Services, DSS, and the Nigeria Police Force. Coming up next, President Tinubu queries IGP over no arrests since Benue community attack. Stay with us.
The news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. President Bola Tinubu has queried the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, over the failure of officers to apprehend perpetrators of the recent deadly attacks in Benue State. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting in Makurdi on Wednesday, President Tinubu said he expected the police to have made some arrests after the attack in Yelwata, a community in Guma local government area of Benue State, which led to the killing of over 100 people. He ordered the immediate arrest of those behind the killings.
How come no arrest is being made? Police, I hope your men are on alert to listen to information. How come no arrest is being made? I expect there should be arrests of those criminals. Let's get to those criminals. Let's get them out. And let's have tangible intelligence that this will not occur again.
President Tinubu called for the setting up of a committee made up of past state governors and leaders whose core mission will be to work to restore and maintain peace in the state. Earlier, some residents of Makurdi shared their views on President Tinubu's visit to the state.
When they tell our president say we don't get food, we don't reduce. We get this kind of security. We get this kind of security. Now they come to raise those people we don't. That campaign they can't do. I say, the man when they come, waiting they come to do. Now my question, how they come to do? The purpose of coming. It's coming for campaign. Those people will die now. Those people will come up, then will rise again. The people now will come out alive. Now make it carry. If they come now, those people not go wake up. That's why we see the market go back. We don't even need them. We don't need them. Now what I want to know. I've been going. Nobody gets there from Akodi for Benue.
He's coming.
Everywhere killing. Not only TV people that they kill, they kill both people, man. So we are not happy.
In the meantime, a security expert, Felix Obaodu, called on the federal government to introduce a strict grazing policy. Speaking in an interview with correspondent Mekotoka, Obaodu, a retired assistant inspector general of police, said open grazing should be stopped completely as it is one of the major causes of the repeated clashes. He said grazing should be restricted to designated areas.
The point is that let us identify cattle rearing areas, grazing areas, and these guys should be restricted to those areas. If you come to Abuja here, you'll be surprised. You see cows being moved around at the center of the city, and that's very embarrassing. So they should identify grazing zones where they should be restricted to. You cannot be moving out to the town. Therefore, the one that never come out with their cows. If you are no longer interested in grazing because if you kept somewhere, come out and look for something else to do. So that's it.
Another security expert, F.A. Wanogo, says ethnic bias and lack of political will are major obstacles to solving the problem. He described the president's call for the Benue State governor to engage in dialogue as a sign of the government's failure to protect its citizens.
It's gone too many, basically, that happened for far too long. And I think what is lacking is because of the perspective of ethnic coloration. And I perceive that the political will to address this matter head-on is a problem. That's what's lacking by virtue of the fact that the recent response by the president himself was telling the governor of the state to go and do some reconciliation. And for me, this is basically a failure of the security architecture and a failure of government to protect the citizens of Benue. Another part of Nigeria. Benue should have been a place where security is on full alert until you think you have had reasonable peace.
Now, elsewhere, a one-day workshop aimed at enhancing the capacity building of principal, protocol, and top security officials in local government administration, initiated by the administrator of Gukana local government area, Professor Gospel Bear, has ended in the area. Some of the Gukana principal officers, especially the head of local government administration, Duke Ibiso, and other local government area top officials spoke on what they learned during the training.
And the sole administrator of Gukana Local Government Council, Professor B. As a professor, he has been a symbol of learning. He has been training and retraining staff of Gukana Local Government Council since his inception.
The principal officers and the participants, I was one of the participants who attended the program today. I think from what we learned, I have studied so many things to be simple, to be polite in our administrative work.
Yeah, the program today was very okay. At least it enlightened us on how to work in this environment and mostly with our boss. And also let us know that security is very important in an environment like this, that every one of us should be security conscious.
On the spot, the leader of the trainers and head of the Department of Education Psychology at the University of Port Harcourt, Professor Gloria Amadi, said the training is aimed at encouraging protocol and principal officers to improve in their respective duties.
The training covered all the areas of job description of these personnel to make them be efficient and do what they're expected to do. So it covered on protocol, security, and personality, courage, and that will make them better aids to the administrator.
Also, the administrator of Gukana local government area, Professor Gospel Bear, said his administration is committed to training local government top officials so as to ensure they improve in the area of capacity building.
What informed the training is just to upgrade the knowledge of protocol staff so that they are on top of their game. Sometimes you need protocols cooperation, you need their understanding, and you need their collaboration if you must succeed. So to bring them up to expectation and to standard, I have to put this training into place. So impressed. I'm not only impressed with the turnout, I'm impressed with the personnel that handle the training, and I'm fulfilled.
In other news, the District 9141 of Rotary International has commissioned 90 school desks donated to Community Secondary School Ruboko and another 60 school desks donated to Community Secondary School Rumolo Oro Evo, both in Obiakpo local government area of River State. The Rotary District Governor Chinedu Ikegwane said the initiative under its Dust to Desk project launched in the 2019-2020 Rotary year is aimed at providing an adequate learning environment for students in public secondary schools.
We found out that children sit on the bare floor to write and read. We would think it's not what it should be. It's not ideal that a child should sit on the bare floor to read or to write. How will he or she cope? It doesn't make good learning. So that's why ever since then, we've been donating this deck to schools. Not just only in Rivers State. Our district covers 4 states: Rivers, Bayelsa, Edo, and Delta. And we do this in all those states as well. And also we approach well-meaning individuals and companies.
On her part, the Deputy General Manager of Kudov Motors and Services Limited, Ozaro Afo Udechuku, said their sponsorship of the project was born out of concerns that some students still sit on bare floors to learn due to government negligence.
Rotary approached us. They came and told us the need to provide chairs for these children. They showed us photographs of children studying on the ground. So we decided to become part of it because in this age and time, children are not supposed to be writing on the ground. So I think it's something that if a lot of companies come together to do or have the mind to do it, it will go a long way. We can't just expect the government to do everything, and also looking at the situation of the country. The children should have this culture of taking care of these things, their assets, everything, knowing that they don't come easy and knowing that it's also for their own benefit.
A former Rotary District Governor Nze Anizo and former Assistant Rotary District Governor Adure Odu said the Dust to Desk project of District 9141 spreads across Bayelsa, Delta, Rivers, and Edo states.
This program, we call it the Dust to Desk project, and as the name implies, it aims to move children from the dust to the desk. We find it difficult to accept that a child will leave home, bath very well, iron their clothes, go to a school and sit on the floor. For us, it's unacceptable. So we started it in 2019, and it's just simple, providing desks for schools in our district so that children, when they get to school, they have a place to sit.
Every year we have been carrying out this project. In any state, we have our district conference. So this year, our district conference was in Port Harcourt. So that prompted this project. We broke the record this year. We did 150 desks in 2 schools.
Now, as part of efforts to promote healthy activities and boost children's confidence during the holidays, the Super Summer Blast 2025 has been unveiled to kickstart an annual event in Port Harcourt called Funderland. It is designed for both children and adults. Speaking shortly after the launch, the project coordinator and founder Obi Ivy Fakae said the event is aimed at creating a fun and conducive environment where children can learn how to compete without being sore losers.
This is an event that we want to use to impact society, which is why we're focused on the young people and then parents, because we have activities, we have games for everybody in the family. So the idea is to create a closer bond between families using some of the contents that we have planned. So some of these content will cause family members to come together and plan and prepare and then present it for a chance to win prizes. It's going to happen on the 5th of September at the Port Harcourt Polo Club, Columbia Street in GRA. It will be all day. It's a family carnival. It's 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're going to bring in a lot of performers. We'll bring some of the biggest stars in Nigeria to form. The event itself is carefully curated to impact society positively.
Now, Fakaye assured the public that her team will work closely with relevant stakeholders and authorities to guarantee the safety and well-being of all children and participants.
I want to teach young people how to compete in a healthy environment, and even if they lose, they don't feel like they have lost who they are. We'll be working with the police, we'll be working with private security outfits, and then of course we'll be working with other people who are in business of crowd control and children management. Schools, churches who have thriving children's departments and who have also mastered the act of managing children as far as their safety and security are concerned. So we're working with those teams to see to it that we manage our crowd properly, and then we manage our children in such a way that they play in a safe, protected environment. This is an event.
Now, further details, including ticket availability, will be announced in due time. For inquiries, she says to visit their social media platform at Super Summer Blast or call 0802 877 2276. You can also call 0810 527 6688. or 0816 110 9602. And now on the international scene, report says U.S. President Donald Trump has approved plans to attack Iran, but has not made a final decision on whether to strike the country. The report said the U.S. president held off on initiating strikes in case Iran agreed to abandon its nuclear program. On the news this morning, you heard Rivers residents are weighing the impact as emergency rule clocks 3 months. Civil society is threatening legal action over Isiaq nomination. President Tinubu has ordered immediate arrest of killers in Benue weekend attack. On the foreign scene, you heard U.S. President Donald Trump has approved plans to attack Iran. The news was edited by Chioma Ezenwafo. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyele. Many thanks for listening.